Hello students, welcome to the second session of Physics Bridge course by APJ Academy. So now in this session we are going to do an interesting thing. What we are going to do is we are going to measure the height of our building, okay, the building of our college, the total height. Okay, interesting now? Yeah. In the other way it looks pretty much easy, right? One way I can measure the height is me going to the topmost floor with a thread or a tape, measuring tape, and leaving that tape so that it touches the ground. Okay, then I'll take the measurement. Okay, if the tape is not available, this lengthy tape, what I'll do is I'll leave a thread or a rope from here to here. Then I can measure the rope using the regular tape. I'll get the height of the building, right? Pretty much easy, very easy, right? So this is one method to find the height of the building, okay, from here till here, okay, from here I am going to measure till here, and this is the height of the building which I am going to consider as h, okay. So one method is the regular method using the measuring tape, but what if you don't have any measuring tape? Is there any possibility that you can measure the height of the building? Yes, there is a possibility in physics. Okay, so there are three equations of motion which you have already studied in your previous classes. For state and CBSE, you might have studied it in 8th and 9th itself, even for ICSE. So the equations of motion, if you can remember, there are three equations of motion, right? First is V is equal to U plus AT, and the second is S is equal to UT plus half AT squared, and the third is V squared minus U squared is equal to 2AS. Now, what are the terms stands for? Here, what is actually happening is a body which is falling or which is moving in a straight line, and this is the initial point of motion and this is the final point of motion. If the body has certain velocity in the initial position, that velocity is named as u. The final velocity it will gain, obviously the velocity will keep on increasing by the time it reaches the ground. So v is the final velocity of the body, and t is the time taken by the body from this point to this point, to reach from this point to reach from this point to this point. That is the time taken t, and s is the total displacement or total height the body has fallen, or the total displacement or the total length the body has travelled from here to here. Okay, s is the length from here to here, and a is the acceleration of the body. Okay, acceleration is rate of change of velocity. I am not going into the explanation parts and all. Okay, a is the acceleration. You might have learnt it in your lower classes. But what is the acceleration experienced by a body if it is falling freely? That's the major question here. If the body is falling freely, then the body will experience an acceleration. Okay, for this particular situation, if I leave certain body here, okay, and that body falls from that point, okay, if I leave certain body from the top of the building and that body falls down, when it reaches the ground, the total distance it has travelled according to the equations of motion, it is s, but what I have chosen is the total height of the building is h, which means s is equal to h for me for that motion. Okay, and acceleration, that's the main point. See, when for any body falling under the influence of Earth's gravity, acceleration experienced is equal to g. What is g? G is acceleration due to gravity. Okay, you keep this much in mind. See, the body falls from here to here. Here I took that as s, but here the height is taken as h. So s and h are one and the same now. And here the acceleration was a, and here since it is falling under gravity, particularly under gravity, So A becomes equal to G. What is the value of G? The value of G is 9.8 meter per second square. 9.8. Okay, it's a constant. Then, without actually, okay, I'm just leaving the body. Okay, I'm not throwing the body. The body does not has any initial velocity when it starts its motion. Okay, when the body starts its motion, it did not have any initial velocity, which means that initial velocity of the body is 0. Got it? I just left it like this. By the moment I left it, it did not have any velocity. Then Earth started to pull it down, right? With its acceleration due to gravity, the body starts to accelerate and fall down. That's the complete motion. So initial velocity of the motion is 0. There might be some final velocity, but we are not bothered about it. What we need is the height. Height is nothing but S. So do we have the formula of S? Yes, we have the formula for S. The formula for S says S is equal to ut plus half at squared. So S becomes equal to, I have named S as h, both are one and the same. Height of the building is same as the distance travelled by the body, right? This much is the height and that much is the same height of the building. Following? So I can put h instead of S in this equation. H is equal to, what is U? U is the initial velocity, the body, the initial velocity of the body. I did not give any initial velocity, I just left it. So initial velocity is 0. Then when does the initial velocity comes? When initial velocity comes, if I throw it, I am not throwing it down, I am just leaving. So initial velocity is 0. So it is 0 into t. What is t? T is the time taken for the body to reach from top of the building to the bottom of the building. That we can actually measure. So what we actually need is a stopwatch. If we have a stopwatch, without the help of a measuring tape, we can actually measure the height of the building. Okay, interesting now? Yeah. So 0 into t plus half. What is A equal to? In this, for this particular situation, the acceleration due to gravity, the acceleration of the motion is equal to acceleration due to gravity. A is equal to G. So it is half G t squared. Again, t is the time taken for the body to reach from top to bottom. 0 into t, 0 into anything is 0. So finally, I am simply left with h is equal to half G t squared. Right? So this is the expression which connects height of the building with the time taken by an object to reach from top of the building to the bottom of the building. Okay? So now the only unknown factor, G is a constant, very easy, 9.8 meter per second square, you can directly put 9.8. So if I can get the time, I can easily get the height of the building. Interesting, right? So I go to the top of the building. Now I'll leave the body from the top of the building. The body or the object starts to fall down and I'll start the stopwatch. As and soon I leave the body falls down, As and soon it reaches the bottom, I stop the stopwatch. I'll note down the time. And with that time, I can get the height of the building. So now we are going to actually measure the height of the building by measuring the time taken by the object to fall from top to the bottom. And we are not going to stop there because we always verify what is true, what is false. So what we are going to do is we are also going to measure the height using a thread or a measuring tape. Then we will compare whether the reading that we get by measuring the time and by actually measuring the building's height using measuring tape are one and the same or not. Clear? So now we are going to conduct the demonstration. So let's go to the top of the building now. So dear students, now we are on the top of the building and you can see what we have here. We are on the third floor of the building and we will be intending to measure the height of the building using the stopwatch that I have now. How do we do that? I have explained it, right? We are going to leave an object from the top of the building now, and that object takes certain time to fall or reach the ground. Once it reaches the ground, we will stop the stop clock and we will take the time, and that time will give us the height of the building. And after taking this time, we will also take the height of the building using regular tape, and then we will compare. Okay, so now let us leave the object. Right, dear students, now we are on the top of the building, and using this bolt we are going to measure the time taken by the object to reach from top of the building to the bottom of the building. Okay, let's do it now. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, it is 1.57. So the time taken is 1.57 seconds, as you can see here. So dear students, we now have the time with us, right? But now we can get the height, but we should verify it, right? We always verify what we calculate and what we get from the formula. And now we are going to verify the height of the building with actual measurement using this tape. Okay, so I'm going to leave the tape till the bottom of the building and see what is the height that I get. Okay, so it has touched the ground, as you can see, and now we can get the height, which is here in meters. It is 11 meter and 60 centimeter. Okay, so the height that we obtained is close to 12 meter. Okay, yeah, I can take it as 12 or 11.9. Okay, so this is the actual measurement, as you can see here. Okay, this is what is 11 meter and 90 centimeter. Okay, 11 meter and 90 centimeter. So dear students, what we obtained just now by the observation demonstration is the time taken by the object to fall from top of the building to the bottom of the building, which we obtained as 1.57 seconds, right? And using the actual measurement, the height that we obtained is 11.9 meter, which is close to 12 meter. Okay, again there will be error in this, which is not the huge error, but the error that we see here is due to the force by the air on the object falling. Okay, that resist, which is actually called viscous force, and we will discuss in detail about it. But this method is valid for the approximate value. Okay, not for the perfect value. Again, approximate value can be obtained using this method. Okay, let us continue. And we saw that the formula that we just took is h is equal to half g t squared. What is g? Acceleration due to gravity, value of which is 9.8. So it is half into 9.8 into 1.57 squared. Right, make use of calculator and do the calculation. 1.57 squared into 9.8 into half, you will get close to 12. Okay, 12.0 something, but you will get the height close to 12, and the actual measured value is 11.9, which is again close to 12 meters. That's it. That's it. Look at this. So this is what we actually measured using the measurement tape, right? And this is what is calculated using the second equation of motion. So what is the advantage of this? You can ask. One advantage is you can approximate the larger heights like height of a tower or height of a cliff, right? So if you have a cliff like this, you take an object from here, you leave it, measure the time taken by the stone or whatever you left here. Normally take the hard object so that the air doesn't push it up with large force. So that comes and falls here. You just need to measure the time taken by the object to reach the ground, just as we did now. You don't need a tape, measuring tape, which is as lengthy as this height, right? So, and hence you can approximate it. Clear? Good. Thank you.